Welcome to March's Plan With Me, everyone. I hope you are having an incredible day. This month, I'm focusing on taking a step back and emphasizing simplicity for this third month of 2022. A big thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform designed for building beautiful websites. More on them in a little bit. Don't forget that I also send out a Monday morning newsletter every single week that's aimed at starting our weeks on an inspiring note. So if that sounds good to you, you can sign up by clicking the link in the description box below. Don't forget to also subscribe so you don't miss future Plan With Me's. And we've got some journaling goodness to get into, so I'm gonna let you do just that. Let's dive in. You guys know by this point that every one of my Plan With Me videos begins with a month at a glance spread. For March's spreads, I opted for a larger calendar, still not completely 2 full pages wide, but larger than my typical one-page calendars that usually have less space for writing in appointments or event details. I'm going in with the Sakura Micron pen in 05 to outline this calendar out. It's been a while since I've used this pen, and I was reminded why it's just one of my favorites. I'll have it linked down below in the description box below, along with links to everything else you see me use in today's video. I think the key to making a calendar spread work when it uses 2 pages is to ensure the columns don't overlap on the middle of the page. I remember a time where I always used to split Wednesday in half at the spine of the page, and although it visually looked great, it wasn't the most practical for filling in purposes. It feels like a crime to create March spreads without incorporating some sort of green, so the one pop of color you'll see me use in this month's spreads will come from this Tombow dual brush marker in the shade 312. It's a beautiful sea foam type of green that feels very on brand for March without heading into St. Patrick's Day green territory. This month's spreads as a whole are on the super minimal side in that I'm not using anything other than some black pens and this Tombow color to create them. I find it funny that some months I really love getting creative with pasting things in, and others I just want to scale it right back, which I guess is again one of the reasons bullet journaling is so great. It can be adapted to fit whatever your planning needs are month to month, week to week, and even day to day. Early in February, this spread came to mind of a leaf making its way into a calendar layout, so this page really became the launching off point for the other spreads you'll see me create in today's video. I love it when spreads pop into my mind like that because there are some months where it's such a struggle to come up with a concept that I'm excited about. On the top left page, I added a quote that says, "Let us live like flowers, wild and beautiful and drenched in sun." I think it's a pretty one that feels really on brand with the natural vibes of this page. Since there was some space available at the bottom of the calendar, I decided to make this a spot to highlight any important dates that might need more details than the calendar itself gives room for. And the last thing I had to do was just add a little bit of boldness to the outline of the calendar so that it'd pop out a little bit more. And I felt like the calendar also needed those numbers highlighted, so I started putting boxes around the Tombow numbers that I had already written out. Whenever I post one of these Plan With Me videos, I like to also publish a coordinating blog post that contains high quality pictures of all the spreads I create. I know many of you use these blog posts to get your creative juices flowing when embarking on planning sessions of your own. Thus, one of the many reasons I adore using Squarespace so much is because I can add images into slideshows, carousels, grids, or stacks to make them easy for you all to flip through, zoom in on, and critique how straight my lines are. I'm even able to make adjustments to each picture settings, like brightness, contrast, or saturation levels, directly on Squarespace, a tool that's so handy when I'm in a time crunch but need to make a finishing touch to a photo before it goes live. Curious to give Squarespace a try for yourself? Good news! You can check out squarespace.com today for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use the URL squarespace.com/Caitlin's Corner to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Easy peasy. I always love me a good habit tracker moment in my journal, so this left page is a dedicated spot for those to happen. Every month I like to track hydration, meditation, and moving my body because although they are things that have become a lot more naturally integrated into my life, there's still 3 things I can easily find myself slipping up in if I'm not being intentional. There are also just 3 habits that when I'm on top of, I feel so much better mentally and physically, so that's why this section of my journal hasn't really altered too much over the years. Each habit has its own set of 31 blocks for me to fill in throughout the month. I gotta admit, I'm always torn with 31-day months because although I love the fact that they make the month longer so there's an illusion of time slowing down for a bit, I despise the unevenness caused by one extra day slot in my monthly grid. So yes, in case you're wondering, it is exhausting to live in my brain. Hopping off the theme of habit trackers, the space on the right page is for me to make a list of things to invest my time and energy into. You'll notice that for both the right and left page, I use headings as my opportunities to incorporate the color green. Its presence in these spreads is subtle, but effective at making the pages fit in with the monthly at a glance spread. I don't know what plant it is that I really drew at the bottom of the right page, but I wanted something with height, and these leaves I drew out with my brush marker Faber-Castell did just the trick, and bonus, were very simple to draw, which is my go-to for doodles. The simpler, the better. This kind of list is going to be different for everyone because we all have different things we want to prioritize, obviously, but some of the items of focus on my personal list are financial planning, learning new things, reading, nurturing relationships, etc., etc. March is such an exciting month, and the fact that it's a real transition month between winter and spring here in Canada. Although March can have wintry vibes, you can notice the days getting longer and the weather easing in its intensity. So it's around this time of year that I start thinking about some bigger cleaning and organization projects that I want to tackle over the spring, and this spread will be a spot for me to record all my lists down for each room in my apartment. I've started off, as you can see, by doodling in a plant to give the spread a decorative touch, a little pizzazz if you will. Plant doodles have the benefit of being very forgiving doodles because plants in nature are imperfect, so any small errors or quirks that you make with your pen or marker end up adding so much life to a plant doodle. This spring, I really feel like a lot of my attention is going to be directed towards my office because it's been a while since I've done a deep organization session in there, and I've noticed that as a result, I'm feeling less calm when working. So I think tackling that area first, slowly but surely, will have a good impact on my work life. I also want to make a point of going through all of my shoes and cleaning them up a bit, especially my winter gear. It's so important to give winter gear proper wipe downs and treatments at the end of the season because all of the salt on the sidewalks and roads just easily ruin shoes. I can't emphasize it enough. If you haven't already caught on to what this spread is supposed to be, it is, yes, the weekly spread, the spread that I rely on the most for my daily planning needs. I started off by making 2 boxes on each page, or 1 box on each page, so for a total of 2 boxes, and there's 8 columns, each 4 per box, 1 for each day of the week and 1 for a general to-do list. So 7 days, 1 to-do list, 8, yay. I'm glad we went over basic math. Typically, I always write the days of the week in English, which makes sense because that is the only language I am fluent in, but I figured that this could be a great opportunity to practice some Portuguese skills by writing them in Portuguese, starting with Monday, aka segunda-feira, then terça-feira, quarta-feira, quinta-feira, sexta-feira, sábado for Saturday, and domingo for Sunday. And then the far right column was for that to-do list. At the bottom of the right page, there was some space, so the left side of that bottom section I made for writing down or jotting down some meal ideas that come to mind, and then also a spot for me to write down any major events or usually for me deadlines that are coming up the next week. I always feel like it's really helpful to have a pulse on what's coming up for the week ahead so that you can make any adjustments to your current week's schedule to ensure you're not going to have troubles meeting those deadlines. After creating that cleaning reset to-do list, I feel such an urge to start diving into this office. There's a decent amount to do and I just want to get it done so I can feel peace. I want to know, as always, in the comment section down below, which spread this month was your favorite. Spreads are definitely more scaled back this month, but I think there's beauty in their minimalism, and I always like throwing in these very, like I said, scaled back spreads every now and then with these Plan With Me's, just to showcase that bullet journaling doesn't always have to be super crazy, all these materials, all these supplies kind of thing. It can be just you, a journal, and a black pen, maybe a marker, and some fun. Thank you again to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to click that link in the description box below so you can get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Like the video, subscribe, share it with a friend if you think they would enjoy it. It would be very much appreciated. And I will see you all very soon with a new video. Until then, see you guys. I mean, in 2 seconds flat, feels like I'm gonna be here saying, welcome to April's Plan With Me 2022, speeding by, if I do say so myself. You know, it's speedy, speedy, speedy. I'm having too much fun with my microphone. Bye-bye.